I'm turning 45 this year, which is an age that I thought was old when I was younger, but now it doesn't feel so old to me. However, reality is bound to set in. I like to live my life as if I'm not guaranteed tomorrow, and I try to stress that to both my friends and followers. Now, in my mid-40s, it's becoming more and more common as I see my friends or family starting to struggle with health issues and the stress of trying to plan for their retirement and for their family's future. Getting older can be overwhelming, and many expect to have it all figured out by now, but instead, they end up dealing with health issues, career doubts, and that sinking feeling of not being where they thought they would be. I promise you're not alone, and you don't have to navigate it alone either. Being able to rationally talk through it is really helpful to managing your stress and your sanity. That's where today's video sponsor, BetterHelp, is here for you. A therapist will listen, ask questions, and help you see things from new perspectives. They can give you advice and techniques to make positive changes in your life. BetterHelp connects you with licensed therapists online so you can talk through what's weighing on you from the comfort of your home. It's flexible, affordable, and entirely on your terms. Start today by visiting betterhelp.com/superspeeders, where you can save 10% on your first month and give yourself the support you deserve. That's betterhelp.com/superspeeders. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, and there's some big news in the Corvette world. The only Corvette I really have in the shop right now is my Corvette, which is cool because my Corvette I had to modify, right? The C5 platform was a good platform. It was able to handle mods, but I had to modify my car to make it go and do what it was capable of doing. Now, fast forward, let's just say 25 years, you don't have to do that anymore because Chevy has done it for you. And there are different examples I have just here in the shop here, the 458 Speciale up there. That is the best example you can get of the 458 platform, right? And or forget about the convertible version. Right there, you've got the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. That was the best variant you could get from a naturally aspirated Porsche at the time, 2010, 2011. And now, Corvette has taken the C8 platform, which is a good platform to begin with, but a little bit neutered. The C8 Z06 was a much better representation. That was really what if there was no like low trim Corvette and Porsche, if Corvette was an exotic car, the Z06 would be the baseline, right? But that's now changed because now they're variants of the ZR1 and then the ZR1X are exemplary of what the platform is capable of. They're giving you a car now that you do not have to worry about modifying. And that's important because modifying it makes it less reliable. Getting a car that's either 1,000 or 1,250 horsepower with the new ZR1X, which is it's been rumored to be the Zr1 for a while, right? It was the Zr1 testing. It's going to be their like hypercar. It's the equivalent of like the P1, the LaFerraris. It's that level of performance for a fraction of the price. And it's also all-wheel drive. Now it's combining the electric portions from the E-Ray, so you get the electric motors on the front, and it's combining the ZR1 twin-turbo V8 power plant, which is the Z06 motor with turbos on it. So it's a sick vehicle. Now, they're both sick vehicles, right? Now, the question is, which one do I want to rent? Now, I've got two Z06s on order, and I'm not going to take either of those. I'm going to turn those orders into something else, and for good reason, right? I ordered a Z06, still hasn't come in, and which is weird, which means they didn't submit the order because there is no backlog on it. But now the market has corrected. So it doesn't make sense to buy a new Z06 anymore. I can go buy a used Z06 for $30,000 under list, $25,000 under list, whatever it is. With the Z07 package, I can go save a ton of money by getting a used Z06. So I'm going to do that with virtually no miles on it and mitigate my depreciation hit by buying that. I don't think the Z06s are ever going to be really selling below. I'm going to put a floor on them of about $90,000. I don't think they're ever going to be selling for less than that. So it's not a bad car to get at 110, 115, 120, understanding that when you put mileage on it, no matter what, it should cost you some money. The ZR1, I think, is going to be the one order I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to do a Zr1 too. And I think for the all-wheel drive aspect of the Zr1, even though it has, the ZR1X, I think that the ZR1X would make a better rental car because already, like, having that 1,000 horsepower, 1,200 horsepower, doesn't matter. That's way too much horsepower for most people. Doesn't mean I'm not going to rent it. I feel like I should rent it because I feel like it's an experience that people are willing to pay for, and that's my job, isn't to worry about how good of a driver they are, but to deliver the things that they want to rent. If somebody wants to rent a Koenigsegg and they can afford to pay for a Koenigsegg, guess what? I'm going to get you a Koenigsegg. Because anyone could say a Ferrari is too much vehicle for somebody to handle, a Lamborghini, a Porsche, like you name it. I've rented cars. The only common denominator that I've seen in renting cars that makes them more likely to be crashed is a manual gearbox. That's the only thing. And we remember going back and it's like, all right, well, that one crashed because it's stick. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's got half the horsepower of this car. It's also rear wheel drive. You can't always attribute anything. The only common denominator I ever had with crash cars was that all of my stick shift cars got crashed. All of them. And that's multiple GT3s. I think I went through 3 911 GT3s. One crashed, then stolen. 2 others crashed. Then I'm like, I'm not going to rent these things anymore. Z06, that was a manual Z06, crashed. I had the manual Porsche, crashed. So the turbo cab at the time. So I'm like, what is it? These cars, there's all-wheel drive. We got all these boxes checked. I think the problem we're running into isn't the amount of horsepower, isn't rear-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive, because you had the higher horsepower at the time 430s that we had, and they didn't get crashed even though they were rear-wheel drive. So it wasn't an all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive thing. However, when you're now talking about 1,200 horsepower, like that's a formidable vehicle, right? That's moving. I'm going to say the all-wheel drive is probably going to make it a better rental car. Even though it's got the additional power, I think the additional grip, it's the important part, is going to make the ZR1X the better of the rental cars. I don't really have an interest in the ZR1X personally, but I do have an interest in the ZR1 and driving it. Now, my friend Christian just got one. He's down in Florida. Maybe I'm going to knock on his door and be like, yo, I was in the neighborhood. Can I take it for a spin? Because he had the old ZR1 too, which was very cool. And I've driven that, and that was a lot of fun, the C7 ZR1. I'd like to get behind the wheel and drive, because I'm into a Corvette long term, whether it's going to be, I'm always going to keep mine up here, not up there, I'll have it on the ground and drive it. But I'm into the idea of owning either a ZR1 or a Z06. C8 ZR1, C8 Z06 or C8 ZR1. I'm going to own one of those in my permanent garage. Now, my permanent garage, you can see it taking shape. I've got the Supra, I've got the NSX, got the Corvette up here, I've got the 458. I'll always have a 458. Then I want to get a Ford GT again, a ZR1 of some sort, and a GT3. And when I have that garage, other than if I get the money to eventually afford like a hypercar, whether I would even put that much money into a vehicle, I don't know. But I think that's going to be where I stop. Is I got the range there. The only thing I don't have in that mix is a Lamborghini. My Lamborghini would probably be like a Diablo 6.0 or something like that, but I don't think that would get the seat time it deserves. So we'll see if I do that, or maybe a Huracan STO. We'll see. That, like, now we're really stretching because I need somewhere to put these things. I don't ever plan on having that many cars parked at my house in my garage when I do ultimately build it. Whole nother story. But yeah, that's the garage. The question is which Z06 or ZR1, and definitely not the ZR1X. So ZR1X, congratulations, Chevy. I'd like to see it. They have to set like a Nürburgring record with this thing. Like, I don't think it's an option. If they're 5 seconds slower, they're never going to tell you if they don't, right? That's the thing. They're over there and they're driving, but if they don't have a number that like blows these other cars out of the water, you're never going to hear about it. I think they will. I think Chevy's got enough racing experience. I think the car's going to have more than enough capability to deliver quite the package. What do you guys think? You let me know whether you think they're going to set the Nürburgring record time. I'm sure they will for a production car. Let me know your thoughts, what I should rent, the ZR1 or the ZR1X. I'm going to get another Corvette. I don't have any C8s right now, so I may get a Z06 and then just a ZR1 and forget. If the ZR1X is not going to be my rental car, I got to see when it comes out and everything, I may just avoid it completely because I don't like hybrid cars. And, you know, neither does the rest of the world. I am going to forecast now, Rob Ferretti is saying that the ZR1 is going to outsell the ZR1X 7-3. That's my guess. 70% of the allocations are going to be for the non-electrified version, the same way the E-Rays are out there, and people still don't really care. People aren't into the E-Rays. It's not like, whoa, I got my E-Ray, I'm so cool. I just think the sports and tuner car market is just really not interested in electrification and hybrids. It's one of those things, a P1 will always be a P1, a LaFerrari will always be a LaFerrari, but if they had like a LaFerrari, like fancy version that was just all motor, I guarantee that would be worth double what a LaFerrari with the hybrid system is worth. Same thing with any other, the P1s or the 918s. I guarantee if they had pure enthusiast versions of those cars, those are the collectible ones. Those are the ones people are clamoring for, and not something that just goes faster because it's got the extra batteries on it or whatever. Let me know in the comments. Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.